big dupe, and that's a big Jeep, baby. I got what you want. That's a big dupe, baby. Sorry. All right, guys. Enough of that. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody seems to be talking about him. This is America's #1 bad boy, Chud. I know you thought Eric Kirk, but it's not. It's
of Martin Luther King.
Chud.
Then Chud the Builder is the white supremacist version of Jesus.
Huh?
You would think from all of the support that he's getting that this guy is a religious hero.
In my opinion, that man had some big... He was going out and doing the exact same thing that black creators have been doing to white people for quite some time.
As you can see, he is still revered in many spaces, especially amongst...
So he's the racist guy. He's like the final boss of racism, apparently. From what I can depict from what's going on here, it seems as though he himself is the final boss of racism. And you know what? There's nothing... Get your bag, I guess. Hey, if the people love it, get your bag.
The white supremacists, right. But besides the hostility towards black Americans, there was also another controversy. It was about Chud the Builder's sexuality.
Thanks.
You see, there were some photos that came out in the past.
Hey, yo!
Chud, and well, they did not look so masculine. If you look at him in this fairy outfit, it's much different than what we see of today. And then there were some suspicious...
Nigga, you can't go around making fun of other people and then you have this sitting on the internet. Like maybe if you kept these private in some sort of special journal with a little key on it, like a good boy, you wouldn't have this. But no.
Photos of him.
Here we are.
Especially the
Chud life.
I understand the blonde hair is one thing, but the yearbook one, yeah, Chud does look a little, But, I mean, it's just a look, right? You're right, Preach. Maybe I got it wrong. It's cool. Anybody can be trolling on the internet. Maybe it was Halloween. Maybe it was dress up day. I mean, we didn't have any evidence that Chud the Builder was gay, right?
I have not Dalton since like 2015. He was a little chubbier then. His cheeks used to clap in such like the cutest way. Now Chud, he doesn't even have a little chubby butt no more, so I probably wouldn't fuck him again. But I'm wondering, did you
excuse me?
bring that up because you want to spin the block?
Oh my God!
I mean, damn, that's just somebody bringing up something. No, it's true. Chud the Builder did see her in a stream, and he definitely acknowledged her. He used to sell weed to her. I believe this person is, the technical term is hermaphrodite. They have both sexual organs.
I didn't know I was signing up for a fucking biology class. God damn.
Here are the two things we know. Chud the Builder dresses in drag. Chud the Builder can at least sell weed to hermaphrodites. But that doesn't make him gay, right?
Oh, hell no! That's hell no!
Exactly. That doesn't mean that Chud the Builder is gay. He just takes a lot of gay photos.
Got him. All right. Well, I mean, listen, I think if you're gonna play off to be this one character, I think you got to really do a lot of damage control to make sure that nobody finds out this, I guess what we could call this other saucy side of you, if that makes any sense. If that makes any sense at all. But this other saucy side should be left there in the far corners, the far reaches where most of us can get to, because if you're going to be this white supremacist, you can't have this laying around in the internet. How am I going to take you seriously when you're throwing all these slurs at me when I know that there's pictures of you on the internet dressed as a fairy, huh?
Got him!
Then recently, there was this particular guy by the name of Poppers on TikTok. He doesn't have that many followers, but he is from the same town as Chud the Builder. And what do you know? He released some information.
So I don't know if it's already public knowledge,
Chud
but that
files.
Chud the Builder guy, like the blatantly racist white guy that's in Tennessee and like just is blatantly racist, we're from the same town. And multiple times he sent me and my gay boyfriends nudes on Grindr. So
For some of you who don't know, Grindr is an app for the gay and bisexual community. It's like the homosexual version of Tinder. And this person said that Chud the Builder was sending him videos or some sort of pornographic.
Look at this guy, bro. This is the type of nigga that he wakes up, looks himself deep in his own eyes and says, I'm going to send some photos to some young... Ooh, yikes.
Tapes on Grindr. Hopefully Not like Abba.
Oh, God damn.
I like Abba. I'm just joking, man. It's just jokes. Let's continue. This person is alleging that Chud the Builder is gay, and he's from the same city. He went viral on TikTok. His video got a lot of views. Then he also talked about another experience.
Okay, but low-key, I'm happy that my video outing Chud the Builder, aka Dalton Italy or whatever, is getting like traction because we went to the same high school together, and trigger warning, I was popular on Vine, like that was my thing. And one day I was staying after school for math tutoring because I needed help in math, and I was standing outside of the school, like on my phone, just like being on my phone, and he took a picture of me, then posted it to social media being like, this is what like the internet popular kids do in real life, like this is what they're actually like. I'm sitting there waiting for my mom to pick me up from after school tutoring, and you're taking a picture of me Right. So at the end of the day, I won. You're going to jail, if not prison, and your bond was $1.2 million. Like, okay. Thank you.
Now,
Got him. Got bodied by a fairy nigga. You saw it right there, Chud.
he's saying that Chud the Builder is recording him and posting him like this is what the cool kids do on Vine, but it seems that Chud the Builder is kind of stalking him, and that's why he's referencing Chud the Builder for what he's been doing. But this would be challenged by somebody on Chud's side. They would have an issue with,
Is that Chud's lawyer? Who's that?
this young man's version of events. And he would say this.
Okay, and what's your point? You don't have one. You just saw an opportunity to get on your platform, take a trending topic, and bash somebody for an attribute that has no.
Oh, nothing better than a fellow racist coming to back you up about sending photos or not sending photos to young boys on Grindr. You gotta love where we're at in the internet right now. You gotta love where we're at with the internet. We're pretty much all just waiting for the Antichrist to show up at this point.
Nothing to do with their case. Which I find ironic because aren't you guys the same ones that are going around flaunting your sexuality in public and then shaming everybody when they don't accept it? But here you are shaming a guy on the internet over his personal private preferences.
Now, this guy is upset, not with the fact that what the person is saying is correct, because he's almost accepting the fact that he believes that Chud the Builder is gay. He's not even denying it. According to him, he believes that, listen, yes, you're right, Chud is gay. But why are you shaming this guy for his sexuality? I mean, isn't that what you guys do all the time? He starts blaming him for being gay, but also Chud is gay. But let's look at it like this. It's okay for Chud the Builder
There's a lot of triggering words flying around in this fucking video right
to
now.
be gay privately, because it is his private life. But it's also okay for Chud the Builder to be able to go out and just disrespect black people for no reason? Huh? But that's not even the bad part, guys. You see, I want to deal with this guy who's sitting in the car because he probably thought that he had one up. The problem with people like himself in Pepper Spray Zone 2, you know, the white chick who doesn't like black people, the issue is a problem in their argument. You see, I ended up going to Google Gemini, and I asked Google Gemini a very interesting question. Traditional white supremacist groups, how do they feel about homosexuality, especially those in moderate spaces, conservative Republican spaces, or extreme alt-right? Chud the Builder and Nick Fuentes. The response that I got was this. Across white supremacist, alt-right, and extreme nationalist movements, homosexuality is a highly contentious issue. While the baseline ideology across all these groups remains deeply rooted in a desire to preserve the white race, their strategic and philosophical approaches to homosexuality vary wildly, depending on whether they are trying to break into mainstream conservative spaces or operating in the fringe, internet culture-driven alt-right. Okay, so I literally screwed up. Google Gemini, AI, Chat GPTs, these things are always too broad. So I had to go back to the drawing board. I asked the better question. So Chud the Builder's community fits into where? And then it answered. Chud the Builder and his community occupy a specific hyper-volatile corner of the extreme alt-right. They do not fit into moderate or corporate conservative spaces at all. Google Gemini, you mother. So I had to go and look further. Then I found the answer. The stance on homosexuality, performative disdain, in these hyper-masculine, edgy streaming spaces,
You guys are throwing a lot of words, and I like that. I like when a lot of words are thrown around, and it makes it just a little bit harder to understand what's really going on. What we can understand and say about this Chud the Builder guy, he clearly deserves to go to jail for the things that he's done. Pestering around all these colored people to make content, absolutely ridiculous. Huh? The Goyim. The Goyim, yes, the Goyim, they are who they are, you know, the Goy, but you don't need to bother people to make content. I think that has to be the stupidest approach to doing anything ever. And with that, I leave you, my liege. You guys know what a liege is? Anyway, sorry. Not a liege, not a leash. Okay. Come on. Get back here. Get over here, you idiot. A liege, not a leash. You goof. I'm a goofy goober. Sorry. All right, let's get into the next video, guys, because everybody knows. Oh, I want to do this Homelander video, but something tells me Amazon Prime, we're gonna get hit with a fucking copyright strike. So let's not do that. Let's jump into Prince and find out if he really was as cool as everyone says he was. Let's jump into Prince and find out, ooh, was he really as cool as everyone says he was? Let's find out.
I had to set the purple ambiance because we're going to find out just how good Prince really was, what he was great at, what he wasn't, and how a kid from Minnesota became one of the most influential artists in history.
I've never spoken about this before, but I was born epileptic, and I used to have seizures when I was young. My mother told me one day, I walked into her and said, Mom, I'm not going to be sick anymore. And she said, why? And I said, because an angel told me so.
There's a conspiracy theory in the music industry that Prince had mystical or magic powers. Some celebrities have said that he could float in the air, and some said that he could see things before they happen. But one
He's touched by an angel. He's an indigo child. He's a true indigo child. Unlike other indigo childs like Willow Smith and Jaden Smith, who believe they were touched because their father was touched to become a successful actor. Allegedly, in my opinion.
One thing was for sure, he was a gifted child prodigy. With a jazz pianist for a father and a jazz singer for a mother, music was in his destiny. And by the time he was a teenager, he taught himself piano, bass, guitar, and the drums. And he taught himself everything by ear. In high school, he joined his cousin's band called Grand Central. They played local clubs around Minneapolis and built a small following. And even back then, Prince was the one that was writing most of the songs and arranging everything. By 1976, he had recorded a demo tape in the basement. A businessman named Owen Husney heard it and signed him to a management deal, and he took the tape to LA. 3 major labels, Warner Brother, A&M, and Columbia, they all wanted to sign Prince. Columbia Records actually offered more money, but Warner was willing to give him the full creative control that he wanted. So Prince's biggest strength was clear from day one. He didn't need anybody else in the room. His weakness, though, was experience. He was a teenager with no idea how the industry actually worked, and that would come back to bite him later.
Yeah, of course, because then that's what happened to the name. The artist formerly known as Prince. He didn't know anything about the sharks. The sharks that are the major record label lawyers.
And one of the biggest fights any artist ever had with a record label. First, he actually had to make a hit. Prince's first album, For You, came out in 1978. The album sold about 150,000 copies, and the lead single, Soft and Wet, only hit number 92 on the Hot 100. But it cracked the top 20 on the R&B chart, which was enough to keep Warner Brothers interested. A year later, he dropped his self-titled album, Prince, which is the one that most people remember. The lead single, I Wanna Be Your Lover, hit number 11 on the Hot 100 and number 1 on the R&B chart. Plus, that album has one of my personal favorite Prince songs, Sexy Dancer. It went platinum, and suddenly Warner Brothers knew they had something. But his next 2 albums took a hard left turn. See, Dirty Mind came out in 1980.
First of all, if we could take a look at this photo right here, this is called Prince Dirty Mind. Look at this nigga. He's telling you, bro. The nigga, he's just so ahead of his time. Just willing to take all the fashion risks that most niggas these days would never, ever do.
And it was pretty much what it sounds like. The songs were all about sex. All different kinds of sex. The radio stations, they wouldn't touch it, but the critics loved it. Rolling Stone called it one of the best albums of the year. And it only sold 500,000 copies, but it established Prince as something new. He was provocative, and he wasn't apologizing for it. Then in 1981 came Controversy, and the song had him questioning his own identity. He was playing with race, sexuality, religion. It was a risky move, but the album still went platinum.
Interesting. Yeah, well, I think it comes at a time, especially in the AIDS era, right, where people are sort of experimenting and doing all these new things that they don't really know. They're touching their bodies in ways that they've never touched their bodies before. Just saying.
But now it's 1982, one of the best years in music. Michael Jackson drops Thriller, Toto comes out with Africa, Foreigner with Waiting for a Girl Like You, and what does Prince do? Prince releases 1999, the album where everything clicked for him. The title track hit number 12 on the Hot 100, Little Red Corvette hit number 6, and Delirious hit number 8. The album went quadruple platinum. But the most important thing 1999 did for him was it got him on MTV.
Quadruple platinum. The album almost went diamond, bro. Like, he's putting up numbers, but it's not like he's got like a number 1. Did I miss that?
See, before 99, MTV had barely played any black artists. MJ had just broken through with Billie Jean, and Prince came right behind him with Little Red Corvette, one of the first videos by a black artist to get heavy rotation on the platform. So his biggest strength during this era was the fact that he refused to follow trends. Disco was dying, and pop was moving towards a cleaner sound, but Prince was out here mixing funk, rock, new wave, R&B, something that people hadn't really heard before, the Minneapolis sound, which actually became his own genre in itself. His weakness, though, was the fact that his image was pushing him away from radio. The leather and the lingerie and all the sexual lyrics, it was holding him back from crossing over fully. That was about to change. By 1983, Prince wasn't just trying to make another album. He wanted to have a bigger cultural impact than that.
What is that photo?
That was about to change. By 1983, Prince wasn't just trying to make another album. He wanted to have a...
Look at this photo. This is the photo of somebody he's too perfect. Like how does one look like that and exist in this world? We are people of 3D dimension, but yet Prince breaks into the 4D.
Bigger cultural impact than that. Michael Jackson's Thriller video was about to drop in December, but at the same time, Prince was working on an actual feature film, starring himself in the lead role. Warner Brothers thought he was out of his mind. He had never acted before and he had no screenplay, but Prince had already started writing songs for it. He had already cast people and they were rehearsing already. So Warner Brothers went along with it. Purple Rain did over $70 million at the box office.
Oh, god damn. The album went double diamond. Purple Rain, Prince and the Revolution. This shit went double diamond, bro.
On just a $7 million budget. And it won Prince an Oscar for the best original song score. The success of the Purple Rain movie, it paved the way for future artists to be trusted with a feature film. If you think about Ice Cube with Friday or Rob Zombie with his horror movies. Now, the movie was cool. It became a cult classic, but Purple Rain, the album, has become one of the best albums of all time. It sold 25 million copies worldwide, spent 6 months at #1 on the Billboard 200, and produced 2 #1 singles, When Doves Cry and Let's Go Crazy. Plus, you had Purple Rain, the song, which hit #2, and the tour was just as big, which grossed over $30 million.
Right, so this whole time he's like competing against Mike to get all these #1s, and he rarely puts them on the board. Whereas Mike is constantly putting up #1.
So by the end of 1984, Prince was reaching icon status. He was in the same conversation as people like Michael Jackson, Madonna, and Bruce Springsteen. But he was the only one that was doing it without a team of producers and songwriters behind him. But something weird started happening. You got 2 black child prodigies, right? One can dance his ass off, and the other can play every instrument. So the media tried to paint them as rivals. But Prince and Michael, they served 2 different audiences. Prince was the edgy rock star, and Michael was universal pop. But in 1985, Michael was ready to be edgy himself. So Prince got a call from Quincy Jones.
And then they decided, let's do bad. Funny enough, actually, they were supposed to be a duet on this album. And yeah, they were supposed to have a duet. And then Prince looked at the first line and said, "Your butt is mine." And then he's like, "I don't know who's singing that, but I'm not singing that to you, Michael. Sorry, buddy." Ha ha ha. Michael Jackson. Bati or not Bati.
The
first line of that song is "Your butt is mine." Now I said, who gonna sing that to who? Because you sure ain't singing it to me. And I sure ain't singing it to you. So right there we got a problem.
Now, the only drawback to this era was that the success of Purple Rain was so big that it kind of put Prince in a box. He spent the rest of his career being compared to it, which is probably why what he did next surprised everybody. Most artists after a 25 million selling album would try to make something similar. Purple Rain 2. Prince did the opposite. He dropped the biggest hit song from his set list and started making albums that had almost nothing in common with it. His next album came out in 1985 called Around the World in a Day. And it was a psychedelic pop record with sitars, flutes, and spiritual lyrics. And it still went double platinum and produced 2 top.
Really? Yo, this man is showing you the idea that you don't necessarily have to just be a one-trick pony, bro. This is what they try to do with artists such as Bob Dylan. They try to just put him in the box and say, you can only play this kind of music, you can only do this, and then look, niggas was just outright just success, you know?
Top 10 hits, Raspberry Beret and Pop Life. But it sold way less than Purple Rain. Then a year later, he did it again with Parade. Now this one was a soundtrack to his second movie, Under the Cherry Moon, which unfortunately flopped and got multiple Razzie Awards. But the album produced Kiss, which became Prince's 3rd #1 single on the Hot 100. So Prince started to build up this pattern of releasing all of these albums that weren't doing as good as Purple Rain. So Warner Brothers was starting to get nervous. Here comes 1987 with Sign of the Times. And this is actually the one that most fans would tell you is his masterpiece. It was a double album with 16 songs, and the genres were all over the place in a good way. You had rock, funk, gospel, and the album went platinum, but only in the US, which for Prince was still a disappointment. But Rolling Stone named it the best album of 1987, and decades later, critics still rank it in the top 100 albums of all time. So between 1985 and 1989, the resume was still incredible because he released 6 studio albums and they all went platinum or better, and he had multiple artists under his umbrella that he was doing music for. People like Sheila E., The Time, Vanity 6, and his protege Apollonia.
Vanity 6.
I really liked your song too.
Prince got to a point where he basically had this whole music universe that all revolved around him. His weakness during this era, though, was he was putting out too much music. It got to a point where Warner Brothers, they couldn't keep up and they told him to take a year off. He had all of these songs that were filling up the vault and the label didn't want to release them, which would later become a problem, which leads us to the darkest period of Prince's career. By 1992, Prince had already released 14 albums and he still had more material sitting on the shelf. So when he signed a new contract with Warner, the deal came with a catch. They wanted him to slow down. They wanted an album every couple of years, not 3 albums every single year. But Prince saw it as the label trying to tell him that he couldn't create. And if we're being honest, Prince had developed a bit of a God complex.
Well, yes, but also you have to understand Prince's whole entire process. His whole process works and revolves around the idea of speed. The faster he can get things done, the faster he can put things out and just get them out there, then the faster he can just create, right? Because he's not stuck on worrying about yesterday's project or yesterday's work. It's like, yo, today, this is what I'm doing today. Today's work is the most important. That's really how he works. That's why you can't get mad at him for wanting to release 3 projects in it. Because all he does is wake up and go in the studio, bro. What else do you want him to do?
And he wouldn't be held down. So on his 35th birthday, Prince announced that he was changing his name. He would no longer go by Prince. From now on, he'd be known as The Symbol. The media called him the artist formerly known as Prince, and he started showing up in public with the word slave written on his cheek. Now, this is the part of Prince's career that a lot of people misunderstood at the time. It looked crazy, but what Prince was actually fighting for is something the entire industry is still fighting for today. Who owns the music that an artist makes? See, when an artist signs to a major label...
First of all, if you're wondering what that thing is on his face where he spells slave, it's a sigil, okay? It's a sigil. He's spellcasting.
The label usually owns the master recordings and the brand associated with those recordings. The artist writes the songs, they record them, they perform them, but the label owns the physical tapes and the files. If the artist wants to release those songs later, they have to get the label's permission. If the label wants to sit on the songs forever, they can. By 1996, Prince fulfilled his contract and walked away from Warner. He released a 3-hour album called Emancipation on his own label, and it went platinum. It was impressive because it was mostly sold through a mail order hotline and had almost no promotion. But this is where the commercial decline started. See, without major label marketing, Prince was on his own. He had to do the distribution, the promotion, the touring, and as good as Prince was at making music,
yeah, you can't, as good as you are making music, this is why they call it working with the machine. And this is why a lot of artists these days, especially a lot of music artists, they get signed to a 360 deal is because this is what the machine has to deal with. They have to deal with the fact that they have to lift you up, bring you up, produce the records, distribute it, get you in the studio, do the promotion for the records, link up with all the radio stations, and it's like, if you decide to take this all independently, you better have some knowledge of how the game works or else you're in for
running a label is a whole different animal. In '98, he released Crystal Ball, another album only available by mail order, but this time, the website kept crashing. People who paid for the album waited months to get it, and some fans never got it at all. It was pretty much a disaster. He realized going completely independent wasn't working, so for the next album, Rave Unto the Joy Fantastic, he signed with Arista. But there was a problem, because now, mainstream excitement isn't the same that it used to be for a new Prince album. By the early 2000s, things were pretty quiet for Prince. He was still touring and still releasing music, but commercially, he was starting to fall off the map. But in 2004, he got a second win, and he released Musicology. It was his first real mainstream album in years. Debuted at number 3 on Billboard 200, and then he went on the Musicology tour, which was the highest grossing tour of 2004. In the same year, he got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Prince was finally getting the flowers he deserved. He spent years being underestimated and trying to be recognized as a true artist instead of just the wild Purple Rain guy.
Been having to deal with a lot of things, getting teased a lot in school. And, early in my career, I tried to compensate for that by being as flashy as I could and as noisy as I could.
So his strength during this era was the fact that he didn't quit. Most artists who get out of a major label deal, they usually don't make it back. But Prince, he stayed creative, he kept experimenting, and he kept releasing music on his own terms. His weakness, though, was the execution. The mail order disasters and the streaming service that didn't get major attention. He had the right ideas about the future of music, but he didn't have the infrastructure to actually pull it off. But with the fact that he was so resourceful and...
But in the end, he managed to bring it all home. Because if we learn anything from this whole story is the idea of persistency. The more we can be persistent, the more we can attack something and continue to just do it over time, then we'll get there. You can climb the mountain. You don't have to get there in one single day. You can take baby steps, take a break, as long as you never stop climbing the mountain. And with that, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace. How you guys feel about that one? That was a good friend, Prince. Ladies and gentlemen, a guy who's not actually royalty, Prince. Now he's music royalty, obviously. Obviously, xCephasx. Why would you say that? Obviously, xCephasx. Hey, xCephasx. Yes. Yes, it is xCephasx. It is xCephasx. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into this, guys. You all know I love it. Clavicular. Clavicular. Oh, shit. Alright, guys, let's get into this.
Worse for the now infamous IRL streamer known as Clavicular because he was just charged for the time he live streams.
Clavicular. Sorry. You guys know how I feel about this dumb internet shit. You know how I feel about it, man. It's garbage.
Mag dumping into an alligator back in March, and that is just like one of multiple legal battles that he's currently facing right now. And despite settling on one of these charges, he's still so far from being in the clear. And honestly, we've been watching this very slow train wreck for a while.
Let me tell you guys something about a slow train wreck that is Clavicular, okay? Some of you are asking, oh my god, how is he gonna get out of this one? Braden, how is Braden Peters going to get away from this one? Listen, the public loves nothing more than a delinquent who destroys his life in real time in front of you. It's like a plane crashing or the Hindenburg falling. You know, that's how we love Clavicular, because we say, is he going to get out of this? Is he going to make it out on the other side? We don't know, but we love to see his demise.
Hell now, but for each day that goes by, it seems like the train is slowly speeding up towards its inevitable collision. Because at this point, the dude has made his life infinitely harder than what it has to be. Because in addition to being banned on YouTube, he's also still has an ongoing civil lawsuit over alleged battery and fraud, a possible, county battery case now due to the fight allegations, and now on top of everything, the alleged reckless firearm discharge where he mag dumped into an alligator. We have to say alleged because it hasn't been proven in a court of law, but unfortunately for Clavicular, he did live stream himself doing it. Now, obviously, a lot of people are going, well, the alligator might have not been alive. Well, apparently, that doesn't matter too much for Florida. And then you also have a bunch of people claiming that he was also firing at a drone in that same stream. So that also is illegal, and I don't know where that's going. Regardless, none of it's good because that's just like way too many charges for one single person to get in less than a year. The dude's essentially been relevant for, again, less than a year. And this is all while he's supposed to be getting sober and also taking better care of himself because, he also live streamed himself ODing. So maybe a reasonable...
It's just stack. One thing after the next. Stack, 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 stack it up. What's Clavicular going to do? Why do we like this? Realistically, we could sit here, right, as a people, as a nation, and we could attack Clavicular and say, oh, why is Braden doing this? Why is he subjecting himself to these things? He's doing it all for the money, blah, blah, blah. But I think what we have to do is we have to take a mirror and reflect it on ourselves as a society. Because would he be relevant and would he be popping like he is if we as a society didn't enjoy what we were looking at? Huh? As a society, we like the destruction and the buffoonery that he's doing. And then we're the ones going to turn around and make a hit piece on him and say he's on the demise, he's on the downfall. Yeah, we're the ones who brought him there, though.
Person would think it might be a good idea to take a little bit of a break, put the camera down for a couple weeks, reset, especially since he says that he struggles to stream and interact socially, sober.
But yeah, man, I ain't going to be doing any more substances for a little while, hopefully for forever.
But what does he do? Absolutely not that, because at this point, it seems like Clavicular has no choice but to continue the show.
As you guys know, I'm quite brutal without it. So that's, I think I have to figure something else out.
But I mean, hey, if you ask me, that kind of sounds like the definition of what he calls jester maxing, because the dude is actively destroying his own life for the sake of his own content. But regardless, I mean, I have no doubts his legal fees are really starting to pile up, and if he continues to get in trouble or banned from more social media...
You see, it's one thing to be cool and invent all these hip words, and then it's another thing to have these hip words used on you. So keep that in mind, kids.
Websites, he could lose potentially all of his income, or at least his main source, which it seems like he already has. Because the dude for a while now has essentially had a mandatory hour of spinning slots on a stream.
So we got 1 hour gamble, then we out. Gamble then IRL. All right, that's the difference. That's the difference between us and YTG.
But in my last video, we talked about the speculation online that he might have actually lost his stake deal since he canceled his stake leaderboards in his Discord. But I mean, honestly, I don't know why he would still be gambling on stake on stream if they weren't still paying him, unless he lost like the main aspect.
The clavicular chaos has caused me to lose my Sonic fucking picture. Bro, it's because there was a bee in my fucking window and the nigga was trying to get inside the room, bro. What the fuck, man? Can't have that. The last thing I want is a motherfucking wasp in here, dude. Do waspinator things.
Aspect of his deal, and now he's just running off of affiliates. I don't know how the deals are structured, but I'm doubtful that he lost that deal now. But regardless, I mean, the dude is just so lost for content at this point that he just wants his fans to come up with ideas for him while he gets facials and recycles the very tired format of bringing on random dudes to his live stream to, I guess, dehumanize or speed date OF girls.
Like, what is this? Like, this is like very you do know who you're speaking to right now, innit?
It's like you don't know who you're speaking to.
I'm speaking to an I know exactly who I'm speaking to. What are you talking about?
All right, so I guess yeah, it's true. It's a when see this is the thing, man. You really have to take heed and make a splash when you first get on and find out what your thing is that differentiates you from everybody else. Right now in the streaming world, everybody is so caught up in just making a fool of themselves, i.e., this clavicular situation. Now this is the content that he's making. This is not content. This is just fugaziness. This is a bunch of niggas being fugazi during a Miami sunset. What great content.
I know, like
he knows you. All of them in there have to you or thought about to you at some point. We know who we're talking to.
Don't disrespect me. I have no.
It's the fresh and fit format, dude, of making fun of OF girls, bringing them on the show and making fun of them. It's tried.
Let's see if that will.
I feel like we both exist into existence. She's here right now, innit? Something had to happen.
You're much fatter in person.
What?
You're much fatter in person.
Fatter?
Yeah.
Well, gonna charge it back.
So what kind of things are you into?
I don't really want to talk to you after your that was so mean.
But he gets a pass. Like, he's giving you like millions, right?
Yep.
Because it seems like the format is like they just bring up a dude, they sit him there next to an OF girl, and the OF girl rejects him, and they're like, why would you reject him? And then
Yeah, but then also what you also have to understand is that these aren't just any random dude. These are all the top spenders for all these OF girls. The top spenders get to come in, and instead of doing what they would normally do, which is completely grovel at the girls' feet, they decide, you know what? Let's insult them. Let's flip the script. Oh.
And they're like, yeah, because he's a normal dude. And then he's like, well, if you mugged and you were rich, you would get her. Yeah, he's done that so many times now that even his own viewers and his chat have started to become pretty disenchanted with how short and flat out boring his streams feel. But I guess right now he's probably a little bit more worried about if he's going to be spending time behind bars than his hair or jawline. But even though we covered him like a week ago when it became public knowledge that he had a civil lawsuit brought against him, allegedly for battery and fraud, believe it or not, there's more. Because today we're talking about an even newer legal problem that's arisen for Clap. You know, the one that we all predicted as soon as the clip came out, because everyone saw that was a terrible idea. So obviously, as many people expected, he was officially charged for his unlawful discharge of a firearm at the wildlife sanctuary on March 26th. And if you didn't know, alligator fishing is extremely regulated. And how would I know that? Well, I have a southern grandpa, and I do go down to the south quite often to go fishing. I was actually fishing there yesterday. I just flew back home today. But yesterday, I was actually out in Lake Eufaula, and I caught a few catfish. Look, here's a catfish I caught yesterday. It was kind of cool. Caught it off of a pole on a boat. Did we see a whole bunch of alligators? You bet. Did we mess with any alligators? Absolutely not. Because if you want to hunt alligators in Florida, Georgia, or Alabama, it's not easy because you have to do it through a public draw. It's highly regulated, and they actually have a lottery-based system just to be able.
Right. But come on, bro. You think those dirty fucking meth crackheads smoking fucking Floridians are checking in with anybody when it comes to shooting alligators? I don't think so, buddy. I don't think so. So yeah, maybe he likes to follow the rules, but that doesn't go for everyone.
Able to actually hunt alligators. So according to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation, every year about 6,000 alligator harvest permits are issued through 3 random drawings and a final leftover face if needed. And I would.
So every year only 3 niggas can shoot alligators. Shut your mouth, bro. Shut your mouth. I get it. It's a politically correct YouTube video. We're trying to be politically correct. Do you know how much animal endangerment sort of things are going on under this, like behind the scenes and shit? I'm not saying that what Clav did is okay. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. Obviously, the nigga's retarded, bro. You're gonna be on live shooting animals. Like, bro, who are you, Tarzan?
Go out on a limb and say it's pretty safe to say the Clavicular didn't go through one of those lotteries and win that. Now, a lot of people are arguing, oh, but the gator, it could have not been alive. Apparently, that doesn't matter too much. So regardless, I guess when the Florida Wildlife Commission tweeted their.
Right, so what happens when the animal wants to attack you? Is that the only time you can attack it through self-defense?
We're actually looking into it, they were really looking into it. Because if you remember in statements made by Clavicular's lawyers, they kind of try to like pass the blame off to the guides he was with, saying they told him it was fine to do it, as if that makes him exempt from any consequences. But the 2 other men there were also charged in this, so I bet they're very happy that he live streamed this to the world, because I feel like, unfortunately, if he didn't live stream this, no one would have known about it.
2 other people that were with him, including fellow kick streamer.
Right, what this was then my other point that I was slowly making in the background was that most people do things where they're not live streaming. You know, they do bad things, right? I'm not saying that's good. Once again, we're not vouching for the demolition of alligators. But I'm just saying, because the nigga decided to live stream in front of tens of thousands of people, clearly not a smart move.
And Tarzan are also being hit with the same charge.
But he also live streamed his very questionable technique with a firearm. I don't know why you would ever close your eyes when firing one, but hey, I was about to be like, whatever floats your boat, but no, please don't do that. But speaking of legalities, under Florida law, illegally discharging a firearm in public can lead to imprisonment of less than 1 year and $1,000 fine. So that's what Clavicular is currently looking at, it seems, since according to.
If that was the case, then all the jails in Florida would be filled with black people. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here all night.
For documents, his only current charge is a misdemeanor discharging a firearm in public. And of course, we'll have to wait until the scheduled arraignment at the 20th to find out exactly what the official charges are. You know, like if they decide to add anything after reviewing evidence, like the hours upon hours of content that he live streamed that day. And then I guess we'll also find out if he pleads guilty or not. Something tells me though he's probably gonna fight this, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Dude,
I think he's gonna go down like all them other niggas went down. Like a nigga goes down. He's gonna go down like a nigga goes down. All right? Meaning he's gonna beat a shit ton of charges. He's gonna get a good lawyer. He's gonna come out of this on the other side. You might need to take a break a little bit, because if he doesn't take a break, I think he might lose it all. But I think he's gonna take a break. He's gonna come back harder and better than ever. Pause. Obviously, this is the content game. This is what it means to make content, to create media. It's about relevancy. It's about, can you stay relevant in this moment? Can you stay relevant for as long as possible? Because once your star burns out, it's over. It's done. Sure, you could try to make a comeback, but that doesn't always work. Ladies and gentlemen, xCephasx. Yeah, I don't know, man. These kids of today, I don't know, buddy. These kids of today, you know, they're doing kid stuff. Hold on, let me see if I can put this here. I just want you to know that I'm coming back to you. I just want you to know that I'm coming back to you. We have 3 clavicular videos. Jesus. All right. Let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, things that shouldn't be on the internet, but they are. Let's get into this.
Fever dream collaboration that literally.
All right.
Okay. Here, wait, come up here. We don't want to see you yet.
OMG, guys. We need to talk about the absolute.
First of all, let's talk about Anna Oop's haircut. What's up with that, girl? Huh? Hold on. First of all, there's a thumbnail here somewhere. There's a thumbnail here. There's a thumbnail here. If you guys know anything about the internet, you will know there's a thumbnail here somewhere. Come on!
Okay.
All
Wait,
right.
come up here. We don't want to see you yet.
All right, I like that. It was a thumbnail. Thumbnail. All right, we got it. Sorry. Ah, fuck. Okay. Okay, here we go, guys. Thumbnail for the video. Awesome. Yeah, well, I mean, it's just like, I don't even know what the fuck I was doing, right? It's like, I got the thumbnail, but the whole start of the video was completely, we cranked that, dude. That was cranked. That was cranked. I'm cranked. And Clavicular is up to no good as per usual. Let's get into this. Ugh. Fucked up the intro. Okay. If you don't want to work, you don't have to work, buddy, but come on. Put some numbers on the board. Put some numbers on the board. What the fuck, man? What is that? What is... Okay, all right, let's get into this.
OMG, guys.
Shout out to Anna with the haircut. Anna, oop. What happened to the blonde hair? Anna's like, you know, I'm going full goth. Let's go.
We need to talk about the absolute fever dream collaboration that literally nobody asked for.
No, thank you. No, thank you. Sorry.
So if you've been on Kick or TikTok at all lately, you know that the internet has been completely losing its mind over a live stream between looks-maxing creator Clavicular and former YouTube child star Piper Raquel. It is easily one of the...
You're right. This is what I was going to say. I was like, bro, didn't this shorty just become an adult?
Most uncomfortable, bizarre, and downright creepy pieces of content to hit the internet this year.
Yeah, I don't really like to look at the chat, to be honest, when I'm streaming, because sometimes it just ruins my mood. Honestly, guys, like, I love the community, I love the chat, but like, sometimes it does genuinely like ruin my mood and make me want to stop the stream.
If you don't know who Clavicular is, let me break it down for you real quick. His real name is Braden Peters. He's 20 years old, and he has basically built his entire brand on extreme looks maxing. We're talking about pushing dangerous physical optimization trends, using extreme diet suppressants.
Right, and let's this is exactly the situation as to why the Clavicular situation is strange. Because a lot of people will do this. They will say, this person is bad, this person is not good, this person shouldn't be in the mainstream. But they don't understand that the mainstream and everything that goes on in society is merely a mirror to the world, right? It's merely a mirror to the world. If people like Braden Peters or looks maxing, they're now prevalent in societies because the society wants people to tell them this message. Not saying that the message Braden is giving is a good, uplifting message. No man should be obsessed with his looks to that point, bro. At a certain point, you get to a point of diminishing returns, as the kids say, innit?
And dealing with massive controversies, like getting arrested in Florida earlier this year and facing a serious lawsuit from a teen influencer over non-consensual acts on his stream. And then on the other side, you have Piper Raquel, who just turned 18 and not too long after transitioned from being a heavily managed child star into launching an OF account. Now, from the second the stream started, the energy was just off. Clavicular was sitting there with this intense, unblinking stare that honestly felt like he was trying to look through her rather than at her. But
we all know what he's looking for.
The moment that really had everyone's jaw on the floor was when Clavicular decided it would be a great idea to ask Piper to read something aloud from his phone. Now, if you've followed Piper for even 5 minutes, you know that she's been very open about being dyslexic. It's something her fans know, her team knows, basically everyone knows. But apparently Brayden didn't get the memo. He kept pushing her to read it, and you could see the
Content king or a devious mastermind? I guess we'll never really know.
moment she realized she had no clue.
Yep.
Can I show the screen?
Yep.
Here, guys.
What is it? Just read it.
I'm not the best at here. Do it. I can't.
You can't read it?
I'm not good at reading that stuff on camera.
Just read the scroll. Just look. It's literally a number. You say one thing.
Bro, I'm really not good at reading.
Yikes. Well, maybe he knew that she wasn't good. But this look on his face really says a different story. But mischievous, huh? In the Monclesi?
Then they decided to take the party.
This is what I'm saying. Look at Anna. What is this new look you got, Anna? What's going on here? It's like, I like it. It's cool.
To a club. And the videos coming out of that were even worse. There's this one
How the fuck is this shorty getting into the club? She just turned 18.
clip of them at a table where he's trying to act all alpha and cool, but Piper just looks like she wants to be anywhere else.
Cool and alpha. Sometimes I wonder about the current state of society. I say to myself, like, oh, these are the people that we look up to. These are the people that we have put up on the pedestals of society. And then we ask ourselves, why is everybody addicted to their phones and such? Because we don't have good role models that tell us maybe it's time to go outside. Maybe it's time to put the phone down, you know?
But you guys, it actually gets even more out of touch because at one point, Clavicular really had the nerve to ask Piper if she had slept with Rakai.
Does he know who I am? Does he?
Yeah, we would definitely be like chilling in bed, and you would like come across one of your clips, and you would be talking
Excuse me?
about. You would be like,
Does he like me or?
he just thinks it's funny. I don't know if he thinks about it too much, but I'm so happy I got to know him. Like.
In bed? You guys
No,
you said
no. I mean, like we were just like chilling. Like we were just chilling. Like you could be sitting with someone in bed. Can you not be? Maybe that's you.
You guys, why? Why do you do this? Why do you do this? Why?
Your brain, like that's where your brain goes. But no, we were just chilling on the sofa.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Rakai is a 16-year-old streamer who Piper has been collaborating with for a while now. They've done TikToks together, they've been on each other's streams, and they even went to the Super Bowl together.
Yes. Okay.
The guy is wild,
Like,
bro.
in what world is that a normal or okay question to ask during a live stream? It just shows how completely disconnected.
The what? Going to the Super Bowl or asking her to read the phone because she's dyslexic?
Clavicular is from reality. He is so desperate for a viral moment that he is willing to throw out these wild, inappropriate accusations without even thinking about the
Right, but we already know that this is the current medium that this man lives in. We know that already. Like, why are we out here trying to act as if we don't know that this is what this man does? This is who he is. This is his modus operandi.
applications. And speaking of weird stuff, we've seen him do some, let's just say, not so conventional things lately. For starters, Clavicular recently linked back up with his ex, and things got beyond messy when they ended up kissing in the club, all while his actual girlfriend, Lily, was in that same club.
See you later. Let me say hi to everyone.
But it's not just his relationship drama that has people heated. He's also been caught on stream casually using the N-word, and you guys, the internet already hates him for that. Like, how do you just casually drop a slur like that on a live broadcast and act like it's nothing?
I just started a relationship like this. I've never been in a relationship where I didn't have to work and that I had to just stay home and do all the house duties and things like that. I also grew up with my
Never been with a real.
yeah.
I guess you never been with a real nigga before then, eh? Alright, let's go.
And then we have to talk about this wild beef that he has been having with Sophie Rain. So Sophie posted this deleted IG story claiming that Clavicular basically stole Piper Raquel from her. She was out here saying that he's making like $20K a day through his agency just from Piper's content. The theory is that he actually signed her to his management, and Sophie was not happy about it. But of course, in true Clavicular fashion, he responded by totally downplaying the whole thing. He was basically like, 20K? That's nothing. He literally said that amount wouldn't even help him run his operations for a single day. Like, okay, we got it, you're rich, but the flex just felt so forced and weirdly defensive. It's like he's trying so hard to act like a big-time mogul, but everyone can see through the act.
Like 20K a day, like that doesn't even get you far, bro. You know? How are you meant to live off that? You know? Like,
If your expenditures are larger than $20,000 a day, I think there's a bigger play at here. I think the big play, if you're spending more than $20,000 a day, is that you might be actually slightly retarded. And with that, I will catch you guys in the next video. Yeah, well, I mean, you heard it here first. Why the fuck do we have 3 clavicular videos for today? Like, what? Why? Is that a thing? Ugh, yuck. Let's not do that. 6 o'clock. There's gonna be a bunch of there's gonna be a handful of clips from here. We should use that first. Well, I was going to do the other one, right? But whatever. All right, here we go, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We've reached the end of the stream. I wanted to do some Instagram videos, but I just remembered that my Instagram videos, I have to take them off from the thing. But anyway, yeah, so I just wanted to touch briefly, just quickly. If you guys don't know me, I am xCephasx, aka xCephasx, and this is just a channel where we talk about just like things in life, things that have been going on in my life, and our current growth, right? We're using this channel to keep up with our growth from 0 to hero. All right. So when it came to working with Disney, when I had the opportunity, the blessed opportunity to work with Disney, it was amazing. It was one of those things where, like, as a kid, this is what you sort of dream for, you wish for, you ask yourself, how am I possibly going to make this happen? I didn't ask myself that, because you never ask yourself how. You should just do the work. And all of this came from just being somebody that was sitting in his room all day, just messaging brands through Instagram, and this all came together. The one thing that it had taught me through working with this company was that when you hand in something and you think it's good, you think it's like, oh, that's fire, and then you're told by the company to turn around and say, that's not it. I don't know what you try to give us there, sir, but sir, that's not it. That's not the piece of resistance, as they call it. Those French fuckers, you know? Yeah, it's just one of those things. They make you try harder. They make you work harder. And at the time when I had the opportunity to work with them, it was one of those things where it's like, I never thought this would ever occur. Because they've owed, like, their whole entire model for making media, aside from the idea of propaganda and things they try to push, is really good. I've always been inspired by Mr. Walt Disney himself, Mr. Walt Disney, the MGMs, the Warner Bros, how they all had these Nickelodeons and were showing theaters, and this whole idea of being inspired by making art, I was really inspired by Mr. Walt Disney. So to have this opportunity to work with them, what else can we really say? And it was through Bad Monkey Popcorn. Bad Monkey Popcorn is a popcorn company, and so they were doing all these different collaborations. So that's how we were able to do this collaborations for the movie Strange World. I believe it's somewhere on somewhere on the internet. Just type in my name, xCephasx, and then type in Bad Monkey Popcorn, or just type in Bad Monkey Popcorn on YouTube, and you'll be able to see it. But yeah, I guess when it comes to working with your idols or working with people that you expect to work with, is just one of those things where it's don't sort of make it the mission plan. Sort of have it in the back of your head and hold it there. As long as you hold it in the subconscious mind, then your regular reality will manifest it, right? So a lot of you are I really want to work with this brand, or I really want to work with Fendi, or blah, blah, blah. And it's like, if you're constantly chasing behind your dream, you'll never have it. You have to give it to yourself first. So somehow, instinctively, subconsciously, I gave myself the job of working with Disney. I know it seems backward. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds like something that's completely out of a storybook. But I'm pretty sure if you keep going and persevering, I'm sure you're already putting in every single step that is necessary to do what you've always wanted to achieve and accomplish. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I leave you. Because every day people want to make it seem as though achieving your goals and achieving your dreams is something out of some sort of, Excalibur book or movie. But it's not. It's just a matter of being consistent and showing up and having a plan in place. Because everybody knows what to do until they get punched in the face. Yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, xCephasx. Yeah, baby. Oh, 1 second, guys. Let's do. No. That's it for today. All right. That's it for today. Go and get yourself a little play with the bottle, baby. Hit the water today. I had to go get a bottle to same old bottle to say. Oh, baby, that's the way that you play. It's the way that you play, baby. Anyway, guys, that's the end of the fucking stream for today, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in for the stream. I appreciate you guys doing everything that you guys do, and I appreciate every single last one of you guys. Guess where we will be tomorrow? Oh, yeah. We're back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. Usually there's nothing that goes on, but guess what? I'm going to do you guys a favor, and I'm going to stream. Because guess what? I'm a numbers guy, and our numbers are down. So let's put some fucking, let's put some fucking money in them for you. You know what I mean? All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Peace.